Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's me, the Bear, and I'm back. But today we have something a little different and something I made for you guys specifically. We have the Xenomorph tier list for hitting 500 subs, and I cannot thank you guys enough for showing all the support you have on the videos with Xenomorph and just asking and being participating in all the comments and build requests. It's awesome, and I really do appreciate it. I can't say it enough. But for this, it's gonna have a little bit of a different structure. I was kind of thinking about how I can do it, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from the basic, what are they called, common or brown add-ons, and we'll move to the more iridescent add-ons. And just a heads up, two of these items in this list are actually not the same color they are in live servers right now. This is an old tier list, I'm assuming. But we have, I think it's Brett's cap, which is green in this tier list, and it should be yellow. And then we have the emergency helmet, which should be green, but it is yellow in this tier list. But I'll make sure to go over that when we get to them. As always, make sure to slap a like on the video and sub if you want to. It does help me. Make sure if you're also not receiving notifications to hit all notifications on the bell. But with that, we're going to get into the tier list. All right, and so we're going to be starting with the cereal rations. Essentially, we have the auras of deployed remote flame turrets are revealed to you while inside the tunnels. This effect lingers for 3 seconds after coming out of the tunnels. I'm going to put this in, I say B tier. It's important to know where survivors place turrets, but I've been noticing the more I've played Xenomorph, the more predictable it is where they're going to place turrets. A lot of survivors, and you'll see this in one of the purple add-ons that I place. A lot of survivors just place turrets next to generators, and they don't realize that that is not the actual move you should be doing. You should be placing turrets outside of the radius of the generator, mainly because semi-auto keyboard is a thing, and the fact that the turrets deactivate as soon as the Xenomorph comes out of the tunnel, meaning that oftentimes you're only going to gain a little bit of distance because the Xenomorph is going to break that turret. So I'm putting this one in B tier. It's not bad. It's never bad to know what the survivors are doing and where they're placing stuff, but there are better add-ons that can give you more information than that. All right, and the next one we have is the Drinking Bird. Increases the duration of Killer Instinct after exiting the tunnels by 2 seconds. That's not too bad. It's definitely, I think it can help, really, if you're having trouble tracking survivors when you're coming out of the tunnels. I know a lot of the times not knowing which way the tunnel's facing or something and coming out and the killer instinct going off, but you not necessarily being able to see it in time because you're facing the wrong direction or something. This could help. Overall, I don't see it as super great. I'm kind of battling between C and D. It's not Xenomorph's worst add-on, but it's not their best add-on either. I'm probably gonna put this in D. You may disagree. Just remember, this is all opinions, guys. I personally wouldn't put this on a priority to use. I would definitely highly recommend other stuff over this if you're looking. But it's, yeah, it just having that 2 extra seconds when you typically know if a survivor's there or not is it's all right. It's all right, but I wouldn't use it myself. So it's gonna go in D. It may move depending on if I feel like see it and I'm like, you know what, maybe I was wrong about that. But for now, we're putting it in D tier. All right, and then that pushes us into the Ovomorph. Increases the recovery speed of crawler mode when outside of the tunnels by 25%. Barring like special niche builds or anything like that, I'm gonna put this as a middle of the road C tier, mainly because you should not be out of the tunnel if you're losing power. The reason I say that is you get your power so fast inside the tunnel. Obviously, it's situational. This pairs really well with like Ripley's watch and stuff for niche builds. This isn't something you should be running if you're just doing normal builds and just like trying to win. This is not something you should be running. I'm putting it in C mainly because if you run it with a build where you don't necessarily want to go into turrets, tunnels and whatnot, you have this to fall back on. This isn't bad, but you shouldn't be taking chases as an M1 Xenomorph. If you happen to get knocked out of power, break chase, unless it's necessary that you don't break chase, but break chase and go into a tunnel, get your power back, go into a new chase. The tunnel system is perfect for getting right back into chases with other survivors because you can just pop out and have your power back instantly. But if you're doing niche builds, I'm going to clarify this. This is a good perk. This is awesome for keeping pressure on and getting that 25% power back faster. But aside from that, it does take a decent amount of time outside of the tunnels to get your power back, and that's why this is going into C tier. All right, so we might actually have our first controversial take on this one. We have Ripley's Watch. This causes the remote flame turret to self-destruct after knocking you out of crawler mode. I personally love this add-on. I think this is a cool add-on, and as I said with the Overmorph add-on, this is simply used to give you time personally, right? So if a turret breaks you out of power, you can hop right back in a hole without having to worry about destroying it. This isn't super strong, but in my opinion, I do think it serves a good purpose in alleviating some time management from you and not having to worry about it. And it also forces survivors to have to put out a new turret every time they break you out. But at the same time, that's a double-edged sword, because then you either have to run around as an M1 killer or you have to hop back in the tunnel to get your power back. But that's why this partners so well with the Ovomorph A, because you're constantly breaking turrets and then gaining your power back 25% faster. It also partners really well with some other add-ons that are coming later, like the Cat Carrier, where if you're broken out of it, you can get other effects that are pretty decent. So with that being said, I'm gonna put this, personally, I don't want to put it in A because I don't think it's super strong. Like in that case, it's another niche one, but I think it's a better niche one. I'm gonna put it in B. You guys might not agree with that, and like I said, it is all opinion based, but this is how I feel. I do use this somewhat often, but mainly because of my niche builds that I do tend to do. But at the same time, I think it's great. I think it alleviates some of the pressure. If you're a newer Xenomorph, I probably wouldn't use it, but if you're an experienced one that likes niche builds and stuff, I would definitely at least try it out. Alright, so the next one we have is Ash's Innards. And essentially what this does is it increases the respawn timer of remote flame turrets by 10 seconds. That's not too bad. But like I said, a lot of Xenomorph's add-ons are pretty middle of the road. They're not too bad, not too great. But this one, I'm going to say we're going to place this in C tier. It could go lower if you wanted. The main thing about this one is it delays them putting turrets down. So I guess you could make the argument that it'd be good with something that you want to delay survivors with. So maybe partnered with Ripley's Watch, it could be good. Like, when you get broken out, it takes 10 seconds longer. The thing is, there are better choices here. But, you know what? I'm going to bump it up to a B. No, let's keep it C. We'll keep it C. Mainly because I don't want to dictate how good these are going based off of what they can do with others. Though I do want that to have a small part of it. So this is a C tier. It delays the survivors and what they can do to get you out of chase, but it's 10 seconds. It's not a huge amount. 10 seconds in the grand scheme of things can be a lot in terms of like chase and whatnot, but most survivors just place the turrets next to generators anyway, so you're not going to get an insane amount of value out of this or anything like that. But it'll go in C tier. I like that. Alright, so I said it in the intro. We have Brett's cap now. This is actually, it shows a green icon in this tier list, but it is actually a yellow, so don't let that fool you. And what it does is survivors suffering suffer from the blindness status effect for 25 seconds when they were within 16 meters of a flame turret that was destroyed by any means. This again goes well into niche builds, but I'm gonna personally put this one in D tier. It's not bad in terms of like using it with builds that can help it, but by itself, standalone, I wouldn't choose this over any of like many of the other add-ons in this list. This is just blindness for 25 seconds. Think about like knockout or something where you could get more value out of actually having perks and whatnot. But you could make the argument and say, well, why would you use the perk slot when you could just use this? It's very situational. Odds are they're probably not going to be in the range of the turret for too long, and it's 16 meters. I don't think it's worth it. But again, my opinion, if you like it, I hope you do. And I hope to see some tier lists from you guys showing some different things. So far, we got a pretty common theme going on here. We got 2 Bs, 2 Cs, and 2 Ds. But so far, I'm digging the list. I'm enjoying where I'm placing everything. This one might be a little bit of a hot take right here. I don't know how many people actually enjoy this. I enjoy it when I have a build built around blindness, but aside from that, I don't really see much good out of it. That I don't plan on running it unless I have that build. All right, and with the next one, we have the first, probably lowest tier that I can think of. Crew headset increases the detection range of survivor footsteps when inside the tunnel by 6 meters. My problem with this one is that this gives you bad information, in my opinion. I don't think making it so you see footsteps from further away actually helps you in the tunnels. I understand that you will know where they are. The problem becomes that coming out of a tunnel after seeing footsteps, the footstep range that you still see coming out of the tunnel is very hard to keep up with, if that makes sense. Like, you can search around and not find that survivor, and they could be out of range of killer instinct, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. This is going in F. This will be my first F like tier add-on. It's just, I think the information is bad information. You'll understand that the survivor is in that relative area, but they'll be too far away to actually get any value out of it. At least that's how I feel. Alright, that leads into our next one, which is probably going to be our first low tier, as in lowest tier, add-on. And it's the crew headset. Increases the detection range of survivor footsteps when inside the tunnels by 6 meters. That actually sounds like it could be good, but in my opinion, I think this gives you terrible information, or at least it gives you bad information. When you see survivors' footsteps, you pop out of the tunnel. Normally, if they're close enough, you get killer instinct, right? That's a good thing. But if you're extending that distance to 6 meters outside of what it normally is, it generally just lets you know that survivors are in that area, which you would know anyway if you could use different other add-ons that are better. The problem becomes that the footsteps are if they're so far away, you're not even going to notice where they are. And when you come out of the tunnel, it's very disorienting that you probably won't know which way to look or which way that the survivors went, anything like that. I am going to put this in F tier. I think this is not a great add-on. I actually think it makes you worse than it does better, but that could just be me. You guys might disagree. Some people might help. It does not help me. I've never had it help me. I might, if anybody wants to see a video on it, just let me know, but that's where it's going for now for me. All right, for the next one, we have Lambert's Star Map. Reduces the flame throwing range of remote flame turrets by 2 meters. So I actually think this one's good. I don't think it's A or S tier, but it is a solid B tier add-on. Mainly because I think this will help newer Xeno players, mainly because you're getting hit from less distance on those turrets, and those turrets can be really frustrating to newer players. I've heard it a lot. They think that turrets are super strong and whatnot. I think turrets are actually really good right now. I think if survivors know what they're doing, well-placed turrets can really make you struggle in the match. So add-ons are key, and this is one that's better for newer players. It is also good for experienced players too, in my opinion. The reason being is that taking 2 meters off those turrets can really make it so that the survivors are skirting the line on where they can go in a loop and whatnot. And it gives you time to approach the turret and use tail attacks on it, break it in any way possible. So it's going in B tier for me. It's not too bad. It's not the most amazing either, but it is pretty good. All right, and we're coming up to another one that I don't particularly like, and it's the light one. Increases the downtime duration of remote flame turrets after exiting the tunnels by 1 second. So if you don't understand what that means, or you don't play too much Xenomorph, so essentially whenever you come out of a tunnel, the turrets are deactivated for a certain amount of time, where they won't hit you with the flamethrower. This adds a second onto that. It's not necessary in my opinion. You would be much rather, like, it would be better for you to run something else over this, because you most likely have time in between it being deactivated and it turning on to burn you out of power. You do not burn fast enough for the turret to hit you before you can break it while it's deactivated. There's no reason to add a second to it. It's just, it seems good. The wording makes it seem alright. There's no reason to run it, in my opinion, though. Even experienced or new, I don't think you need that. Just run something better. There's no, like, you just, that extra second's not going to do anything for you. You're going to break it anyway. All right, this is where we're starting to get into some of the better add-ons. And like I said in the introduction as well, this is the second one where the coloring is off. This should be a green add-on, not a yellow one. This is the emergency helmet. Increases the stagger resistance against a remote flame turret by 35%. Easily going into S tier. This can save you, as long as you don't become reliant on it, this can save you a ton of frustration in turrets in general. This thing makes it so you can pretty much tank anything. You're probably, let's just say, you're probably going to break every turret that you come across if you manage to use this. Do not partner this with Ripley's watch. The value you'll get is very minimal, because this one you're essentially becoming a tank rather than a glass cannon where you break the turrets and get out of power. This is you saying I'm staying in power and you have nothing to say about it. I'm doing it. You can't tell me what to do. Emergency helmet is so good that honestly I'm surprised it hasn't been nerfed yet. It's good. Being able to tank turrets for longer is better, and the stagger effect, where I'm not sure how much it affects the shots you make and stuff, but it's just good. It's just good. It's S tier. First S tier we're gonna have. All right, and like I said, this is where we start getting into the territory where we start getting into better add-ons. The next one we have is Kane's helmet. Survivors hit with a successful tail attack suffer from the mangled status effect for 70 seconds. Ever since the mangled nerf, I don't typically see people run it too often. I don't think the timer hurts it too bad. That's 70 seconds where it takes longer to heal them. And in the current meta, that we see a bunch of survivors running styptics, syringes, med kits. Getting those med kits to take longer will actually incentivize them to use those items faster, giving you time to actually pressure the gens and pressure them. It also makes them run to, if you have the right builds, it makes them run to corners of the map and stuff like that, away from generators, to typically heal up and reset themselves. I think it's great. Kane's helmet for me is going into A tier. I don't care that it's on a timer. Mangled used to be on a timer way back in the day, and it is again now. It's fine. 70 seconds is a lot of time. I think you guys can manage it. Try it out. Partner with the hemorrhage add-on. Do what you got to do. I think it's good. It's going in A tier for me. And yeah, just apply Mangled, dude. You're going to be using your tail attack a lot anyway, so get some Mangled in there and make them heal slower. Alright, so this one is a bit of a hard one for me to place, if that makes sense. Molted Skin. After deploying a remote flame turret, survivors suffer from a 3% hindered status effect and the exhausted status effect for 3 seconds. The main reason I say this is hard for me, because on paper that sounds good, right? What are survivors going to be doing with the turrets, and when are they going to be placing the turrets? The survivors are going to be placing the turrets when you're not around. The odds of you catching somebody placing a turret are pretty low. It does happen. You guys seen it in plenty of my videos. It does happen, but it's also not very common in my videos. Like, it happens once in a while, and at most once per match. I don't think that having 3 seconds of exhausted and 3% hindered are enough to justify using this, even if they place turrets a lot. Argument could be made that you could be sitting in tunnels waiting for people to place turrets and whatnot. But overall, I'm going to put this in D tier. I wouldn't use this, but again, I'm pretty different with the way that I play Xenomorph. Aside from some of the more popular add-ons, I think I would rather use any of these over this. It's not to say that you can't get value from it. I just think the value might be a little forced, but that is what it is. All right, so we're moving into the next one, which I don't think I explained it with Kane's helmet, but Mangled essentially just makes it so whenever you get the tail strike, for this add-on at least, whenever you get the tail strike, it will make survivors take longer to heal, and their items use I think it takes 20% or something longer to heal as well. So you're basically making it harder for them to heal. So with the next one, multi-purpose hatchet, survivors hit with a successful tail attack suffer from the hemorrhage status effect until fully healed. The hemorrhage status effect usually goes hand in hand with Mangled, but what you want to do is use this hatchet. We want to use this so that it makes them easier to track because they bleed more. And if they start healing within your terror radius and they, like, let's say, that's not just your terror radius. If they start healing and they are disrupted for any reason, the healing bar will go down. And this one's not timed. So, like, anytime that you disrupt healing, the meter's gonna go down. So hemorrhage is not too bad. This is another A tier one for me. And the reason I'm keeping it in A tier is it's not dependent on builds. It can get better with builds. You can really make it hard for survivors to heal up with Xenomorph with these two add-ons, especially if you partner them together. You just got to take the sacrifice of maybe not being as tanky or not losing turrets, things like that. But overall, I think the hatchet's pretty decent. All right, so for the next add-on, this one's going to be heavily based on whether you like the haste status effect or not and how often you go into your tunnels. Parker's Headband grants a 5% haste status effect for 3 seconds after exiting the tunnels. For me, this is an easy C tier. I don't think it's good or bad. It's cool. Coming out of the tunnel with 5% haste for 3 seconds isn't bad, and it could be fun to use with those speed builds. But for practical use, I wouldn't say that you get too much of an effect unless you're... Now, that's not to say that you're not going to get any value out of it. A lot of the times when you come out of a tunnel, there's going to be a survivor nearby, or at least you're monitoring where survivors are, so you can get to where you need to faster, which is why it's going in C, not D or F, because you can get value out of this, and it will oftentimes get you your first hit pretty quickly, because survivors won't know that you're faster. So it's going in C tier. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just middle of the road. All right, this is where we're starting to get into the good stuff. This is probably what you guys have been waiting to see the whole time. So we have the Cat Carrier next. Grants the undetectable status effect for 30 seconds when a remote flame turret knocks you out of crawler mode. Again, partnered with Ripley's watch or just getting taken out of it by force. This thing is a menace, and I've been noticing it more and more the more I use it. People don't really understand where you went all of a sudden. I'm not even talking about if you're chasing a person. If you're chasing a person, that's great. But if you get broken out of your power because a person led you somewhere, divert chase. You have 30 seconds where nobody knows where you are, and the amount of downs I've gotten from this are crazy. I'm putting this in A tier. just for the sole purpose that you have to get knocked out of power for it. So there is a negative to it. Honestly, I think this is one of the best add-ons in terms of like risk reward, right? You get taken out of your power, but you're rewarded by being stealthy for 30 seconds. It's great. I wish more add-ons were kind of like balanced around this risk. It's awesome. I mean, I just enjoy using it, but I enjoy undetectable builds, so that could be why I've taken such a shine to it. I think it's awesome. Hopefully you guys think it is too. I would love to see people like show more builds using this. I think it would be fun. But yeah, so for me, it's going in A. All right, for this next one, this is going to be heavily dependent on your playstyle and how often you come in and out of turrets, in my opinion at least. We have the harpoon gun. Successfully hitting a survivor within 10 seconds after exiting the tunnels causes all other survivors further than 24 meters from your location to scream and reveal their location to you. So if you don't understand what that is, it's essentially you are getting infectious fright as soon as you pop out of your tunnel. You have 10 seconds to hit a survivor, and then anyone within 24 it's farther than 24 meters from your location to scream and reveal their location. So if there's nobody around you, you hit the survivor within 10 seconds of coming out of a tunnel, you get some information. Not bad. For me, that's a solid B tier. That may be higher up on the list for some people. I know a lot of people actually enjoy this one. I'm not going to put it in A or S because the value you get is super situational. But let's be honest. If you're coming out of a tunnel, you probably know somebody's around, and if you can get that hit within 10 seconds, might even be good with the headband. You're gonna get information if people aren't around, and usually people aren't grouped up anyways. So at least efficient survivors aren't grouped up. So I don't know, B tier, A tier for some. It's good. It's not bad at all. All right, this one might be a little biased for me, but the self-destruct bolt increases the vaulting speed while in crawler mode by 30%. You don't know how bad I want to put this in S tier, and I think I am going to put it in S tier. The only reason I would put it in A tier is because it does... You can make it really nasty with builds, but outside of that, I wouldn't say it's the nastiest thing ever. I'm putting it in S tier, mainly because in a chase build, this perk is freaking phenomenal. Even without Bamboozle, even without Superior Anatomy, even without Fire Up, this is 30 in crawler mode. You are 30% faster vaulting. That is huge. You're getting value from the add-on without even using perks and whatnot. I'm honestly surprised. Like again, anything in S tier, I'm gonna be surprised it hasn't been nerfed or looked at all. And they might have, but they're not touching it yet. But self-destruct bolt, being able to vault faster within chase is huge. It usually gets me a hit no matter what, whether that be a down or just a first hit or something. I've outplayed so many survivors at Shack because of self-destruct bolt. It's a good add-on. I would consider it one of Xenomorph's best add-on, but it's also I wouldn't even call it situational. I think even if you're not on a map with a lot of vaults, just hitting one vault can save you so much time. So I'm gonna put it in S tier. All right, and this, as you guys have been watching my videos, has become my favorite Xenomorph add-on. We have the semiotic keyboard. Reveals the repair progression of generators located within 16 meters of a remote flame turret via the intensity of their aura. This is huge, and I'm trying not to rely on it in my matches anymore. I've stopped running it for a little bit just because I was becoming super reliant on it. There is so much information here, and survivors not understanding to don't put turrets next to generators will always baffle me. They just don't do it, all of them. It doesn't matter. I will always get value out of this add-on as long as survivors put turrets next to generators, which they do every single match. There's not a match where they don't. And it covers 16 meters of the turret, so 16 meters is a lot, right? So even if they place it to an adjacent loop that's near, the generator, I still get value and know that they're working in that general area. I just got to find the survivor and find where the turret is. Even then, I don't know. It's just great. I get so much value out of this now, knowing when to break chase and see that a generator is being worked on. Will a generator pop? Oftentimes, if it's dark red, I won't even go for it, and they can just keep the turret over there and have to move it themselves. A lot of information. This is definitely an S tier perk, and I'm surprised this one hasn't been looked at either. All right, so we finally made it to the Eerie add-ons, which I don't know if this is agreed upon, but I think this is a killer where the Eeries are actually not quite as good as the purples. Well, I should say some of the purples. We're going to start with Acidic Blood. When a survivor stuns you within 20 seconds after emerging from the tunnels and while you're in crawler mode, the following effects apply. Causes healthy survivors to lose 1 health state. Causes injured survivors to suffer from the deep wound status effect. This is a decent add-on in a build. No, it doesn't even have to be a build if you can force a pallet out of a survivor. The problem becomes if you're in crawler mode, survivors typically either greed pallets or don't drop them at all. Or you'll get lucky and have the survivor that camps the pallet and you get the hit anyway. The problem becomes that some of them don't drop pallets at all. I've noticed this recently. I was using a full-on enduring, spirit fury, brutal strength, all that build to try and get the challenge done, and survivors just wouldn't drop. They didn't even know I had enduring. They didn't know I had spirit fury. They just wouldn't drop the pallet at all, and I got 0 value out of Acidic Blood. But it's just situational. I'm gonna put this in B though, because if you get getting value out of this, actually getting it feels so good. You're forcing a pallet out. You get the injure anyway. You can either choose to break back into chase, or you can leave chase and break pallet, or go take care of other things, knowing that that survivor is now injured. It's good. It's not amazing. The purple add-ons I think are better, but as an Eerie add-on, I think this is decent. And with that said, we come on to the final add-on, the final Iridescent add-on, Improvised Cattle Prod. Each time a generator is completed, the following effect applies for 15 seconds. The auras of survivors coming within 10 meters of a control station are revealed to you for 15 seconds. I'm putting this in A tier, just flat out saying it. It's a great Iridescent, mainly because you are getting free Bitter Murmur in a add-on slot. I mean, you're getting it. The reason I say it's Bitter Murmur is because you will most likely always get value out of this, because what is around generators? Stations. So every time a generator is completed and survivors were within 10 meters of a control station, you will see them for 15 seconds, because most likely there is a station next to the generator and they're going to get seen. The amount of times I've seen survivors that didn't have the perk from Jeff, where distortion, where you hide your aura. The amount of times I've seen survivors without that perk because of this add-on is huge, and it does give you information. And partnered with the right add-on, it can be huge. But that is the list, guys. This is actually not a bad list. All right, so that's gonna be it from me, guys. This was fun. I don't normally do tier lists, and just going over each and every add-on was kind of nice, and it kind of put into perspective how my playstyle is and what I think about some of these. Again, this is a very opinionated thing. Add-ons are heavily dependent on your playstyle. No one is objectively right, wrong. There are ones that can be taken as objective, like it could hinder the playstyle of the Xenomorph, stuff like that. But overall, if you get value out of it and you enjoy it, put it on your tier list and put it higher up. Be different. Do what you want to do. It doesn't matter. You're going to be playing how you want to play. You do what you want to do. Just play the game. This is my tier list. I do notice that we have a lot of middle-of-the-road perks, but that's all right. I don't think if you have a ton of S tier perks, I think that you just enjoy every one of Xenomorph's add-ons, and that's all right. If you want to enjoy them, you can enjoy them. But this is just how I feel about all of them. And as always, guys, make sure to slap a like on the video and sub if you'd like to. Again, I appreciate that all of you guys stop by and are enjoying the Xenomorph content. I will be introducing some other killers into the mix as well. Probably, we're going to be doing, like, Shrine of Secret videos, stuff like that. I just want to give you guys more to watch other than Xenomorph, but I understand that a lot of you are coming for Xenomorph, and I appreciate that. But it's hard to believe 500 subs already. We're cruising, dude. And oh, I did get somebody that messaged in the comments that they weren't able to see the videos. I'm not sure why, but if you guys want to, hit the bell, click all for notifications. It'll let you know when my videos go live. Hopefully it's just a little error, but they did say that they have to search up my videos. But this was fun. I would love to do it again sometime, maybe for a different killer, maybe for down the line, just in case that Xenomorph gets any nerfs or buffs or anything like that to her add-ons. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evenings, days, nights. This is Rambling, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.